Mr. Top, the
In a world drowned in lies, where corruption and evil reign, this summer, the fight for truth continues. The Red Pill Project, Alpha Warrior, DEFCON ZERQ.
Another head hangs slowly, child is slowly taken. The violence causes silence. Who are we taking? Tanks and their bombs and their guns and their guns. Your head, they're crying. Your head.
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
What's in your head?
Our movement is about replacing a failed and corrupt political establishment with a new government controlled by you, the American people. There is nothing the political establishment will not do.
DEFCON ZERQ.
It would be nice if we showed up on the screen. There we go. Got the scenes over there that were mixing things up for me. What's up, brother?
What's up, man? This is going to be probably one of the hottest episodes we've done. So I want people to really take notes, get out your notebooks tonight, pay attention. This is going to go fast. This is going to go crazy. This is going to get really freaking good.
I did my Just Alpha show last night. Covered a lot of good stuff, but in the process of that, there were some things that I was like, I want to get Josh's take on this. And just so you know, Josh, I don't know if I've ever explained it to you, but my Just Alphas, I do it on Monday, and it's pretty much everything that happened from last Monday to the next Monday. So it's 1 week. And before we get into this hot stuff that we were talking about behind the scenes, I want to bring up this. This is an old post for General Flynn. And obviously there's some other stuff we're going to talk about that happened with Flynn and Trump and their posting. But this one, I think, kind of went under the radar. So I'm going to bring it up on the screen here so you can take a look at. And again, this comes from August 25th at 1:01 a.m. my time. So 4:01 a.m. East Coast time. And this is what General Flynn put it. This is what he posted. We're living in what I call the third arc of American history, a period as consequential as the American Revolution and the U.S. Civil War. Today, the threats we face are not only abroad, but also here at home. Infiltration, radical ideologies, and forces that seek to dismantle the very foundation of our constitutional republic. I've spent years at war overseas, but I've come to realize the most significant battle is right here, fought not with weapons, but with courage, conviction, and truth. This is not just the real Donald Trump's fight, nor the fight for those who have worn the uniform. Each of us has a responsibility. Don't simply ask what others are doing. Ask yourself, what am I doing to serve my country? This is an existential moment for America. New York City, our nation's bellwether, a warning sign. Our borders, our sovereignty, and our freedoms are all under attack. But we are not powerless. We must come together, take decisive action, and safeguard the future of our beloved nation. The future of America will not be decided by the deep state, the globalists, or foreign powers. Now, before you answer that, I'm going to play 2 quick commercials. And when we come back from these commercials, we're going to get Josh's take on this, everybody.
Science proves that a healthy immune system is the body's first defense against the smallest of ailments to the most catastrophic. Coriolus versicolor is the most sought-after, all-natural supplement for both humans and pets to help boost the immune system. There are over 400 studies worldwide on its effectiveness in humans, including Sloan Kettering Cancer Center, MD Anderson Cancer Center, and now from the University of Pennsylvania School of Veterinary Medicine. Together, we can help reverse this terrible tide now plaguing your loved ones and give them the immune-boosting supplements that they need.
Howdy, Badlanders. Looking for something new to grab from your friends at Badlands Media and Rise Attire? Summertime is here. We got you covered. All new tank tops for men and women, featuring new iterations of the Devolution design in black, red, white, and even blue and green digital camo. Sick. We got them for Psywar and Clown World too. How about these bad boys? Psywar, Clown World, and Devolution beach towels to help you spark up a conversation with your new best friend or future spouse at the pool. And by popular demand, we've got all new athletic women's leggings that'll have you red pilling all the ladies in your Pilates class, whether they like it or not. Too bad. This is Badlands, baby, and we're strapped. Get some and support the new media parallel economy as much as f***ing possible at badlandsmedia.tv/rise.
Boom, the links to those sponsors down in the description. We'll have one more commercial, maybe somewhere in the middle, maybe somewhere towards the end. But Josh, Flynn puts that out. And I think most of the people probably in the chat, most of the people in our community pay very close attention to the way Trump posts, the way Flynn posts, Stephen Miller, Scavino, go down the list.
Close.
And the one thing I don't think anybody can argue, Flynn's rhetoric has been, he's gone full Flynn, bro.
Well, we're going to talk about it a little bit tonight.
Okay.
So, number one, do you remember when we were talking to General Flynn and he was giving us his history of who he was, of what he did in the military? Do you remember where he was stationed originally in military intelligence when he first started his career and where he was?
He told us because we talked.
Remember, he ran counterinsurgency operations in Central America against the drug cartels.
Yes, because that linked up with one of our other friends that we interviewed.
That's right. Flynn told it. You guys, you need to go watch the interview that Alpha and I did with Flynn. It's massive nuggets all throughout it. But it's really interesting because Flynn is starting to sound more and more like Q every day.
Big time, bro.
Not only sounding like it, but also hinting at it all over the place. The Q plus from Trump the other day.
I have those. If you want me to bring them up, I can bring them up so people.
We'll talk about them. But Cog Drogo, Cog Drogo, if anybody doesn't know, Chad, he has a painting that he did with Trump, and it says Q in the backdrop. And Trump, he gave it to Trump, and Trump has it hanging at Trump International in California. And Chad posted it on his X account, and Flynn commented saying, one of the best pictures you ever done. Guys, we are full blown into Q right now because it is incredibly relevant. Dude, I opened like 80 windows. Okay.
Yes.
I don't know where you want to start with this because today was a really big day. I'm just coming off of my show. So however you want to start it, you do it. I'm just going to jump in.
Let's do this because I want to give it time to continue to populate. We're approaching the 3,000 mark over there on Rumble. So let me ask the audience, help us out with this. You've put us on the top 10 of the leaderboard every single week. So one, thank you. But we need you guys smash that thumb and share the content out. Whatever platform you're watching on, repost the stream, share the stream, do us a solid, grow the family, get everybody in here. I want to get into, I mean, why not just fire off? I mean, everything we're going to talk about that we want to address is all super important. It's all crazy important. Let me do this. Let me ask.
Actually, I got something for the Badlanders out there.
Okay.
Okay.
I got a good warm-up one too.
I got something for the
and it's
Badlanders
crazy
out there.
because you can't even really call it a warm-up one because it's so fucking important.
Well, this is Sunday, so I want people to be aware of it. John put this out on his X account. Badlanders, we're doing a meetup in Minneapolis next week. It's actually in St. Paul, White Bear Lake, 9/7/25. That's Sunday. Come hang out with CanCon Actual and John. And who else is going to be there? So if you guys want to meet John, CanCon, and myself, and you're in Minnesota or close to Minnesota, Wisconsin, Iowa, come on out, guys. South Dakota, come on out. We're going to be there. It's posted on my X account, on John's X account. It's the Quinny's Sports Pub. It's from at noon to probably about 3 o'clock, 9/7. And I will be there. I was added late. I found out about it. I'm like, I'll be there. I'll go.
Hell yeah.
So hopefully we can see you guys there.
Hell yeah. Right in the backyard. Right in the freaking backyard. And now those numbers are jumping. That means you guys went and helped us out. Already approaching 1,000 thumbs up on Rumble. You guys are a hell of an audience. I saw that you guys did some Rumble rants. We will address the Rumble rants at the end of the show. Depending on the time, we'll probably take some calls tonight. So just expect the calls and Rumble rants at the end. I know that there were 2 people that gifted subscriptions and I wasn't able to capture those. So if anybody caught their names and you could put them in the chat, I'd like to show our appreciation for them at some point during the show, if not right now as well. Here's what I want to start off with. And I was going to do a post on it today, but dude, so much was happening today, bro. So much. So it's just like, dude, I have this sticky note or sticky pad with all the things that I want to write on because I'll forget, bro. So much stuff is happening. Like I'll forget. This is one of the things that I want to do a post on. Now, I'm going to bring it up on the screen. I talked about it last night. I think a lot of people missed this, bro.
Oh, I got it.
Well, I know you did. I don't think anything gets past you, bro. But I mean, this is Chuck Grassley, or at least his account. And he puts, first Q, Uni 10, Butler 7.
Football game, college football game.
100%. Most people would write this off as just a football game, right? Unless you really pay attention. First Q, so just to give some insight into what I learned through detective work, our creator made us in such a phenomenal way, and our brains are way more smart and sophisticated than we give ourselves credit for. And a lot of times when you get this first thought on something is because that's the speed of, how your brain can do an analysis and an assessment. And that's why you're typically right on tests. And you're like, why didn't I just go with that first one? Because we doubt ourselves. Human emotion gets involved. And that's when we make mistakes. When I first saw this first Q, I took that as the first Q post. That's how I took it. And then 10-7, well, 10 plus 7 is 17. So this is a confirmation to Q again. And then Butler, well, we know that is where they tried to assassinate President Trump. And so when I went to the first post as it appears on the board, it's this one. And most of us know it. October 28, 2017. It says, the bracketed or the one in the box says Hillary Clinton will be arrested between 7:45 a.m. 8:30 a.m. Eastern on Monday, the morning on October 30th, 2017. And then the boards respond, HRC extradition already in motion, effective yesterday with several countries in case of border run. Passport approved to be flagged effective 10:30 at 12:01 a.m. 1 minute after. A minute's important, and Josh, you can cover on that right now too. Expect massive riots organized in defiance and others fleeing the U.S. to occur. USMs will conduct the operation while NG activated. Proof check. Locate an NG, and that's National Guard for those that aren't tracking. Locate a National Guard member and ask if activated for duty 10:30 across most major cities, which is exactly what's unfolding right now.
It is.
Absolutely, that's unfolding right now. Now, what's your thought? And I'll take it back to Chuck's post, and if you want me to bounce back and forth between those, I will.
The first thing I want to note, everybody to notice, is 11:44 a.m. is actually Alpha's time frame.
Yeah, so that'd be 12.
So this was actually 2:44 a.m. or 2:44 p.m. Now, first Q, Uni, 10, Butler, 7. Okay. Firstly, 10 and 7 is what?
17.
17. Okay. Let's bring this. I want to bring mine up to the stage. I'm going to remove yours. This is the timestamp. Less than
a little bit bigger.
Oh, it's huge.
Thank you. Thank you.
There you go.
I'm getting old, bro. I'm getting old.
Less than 10 can confirm me. Do it Q coincidence. Twitter retweet coincidence. Twitter keywords coincidence. Picks coincidence meant only for you. God bless Q. Now, Twitter keyword coincidence. Less than 10 can confirm me. 10 and 7 on the post. Now, we've talked about 10 and 7. Less than 10 can confirm me. Remember, I've said this before, Alpha. I said what? I said less than 10 can confirm me. It doesn't mean 10. It means less than 10. And then he goes on to say 3 military, the rest civilians. And I say there's 7 total. 10 and 7. What did Grassley just do?
10 and 7.
So we have some things that are happening right now. And I think that there's a lot of Q comms going on like that. And I think that it's drawn the distractions away from what I'm going to say, board operators that are in progress. And the reason I'm saying that is because one of the key points that we have to understand about the Q boards, and this is going to become relevant tonight when we talk about Kirill Dmitriev. When we talk about Kirill, is the boards are a proxy board of communication for stage actors. What do I mean by that? When Donald Trump wants to communicate with Vladimir Putin, he can't call up Vladimir Putin and be like, hey, this is what's going on. This is what we're going to do. He's got to utilize symbolic proxy communication. That's the Q boards, people. And we got a signal of this last week, of that's actually what's happening. So I think that we're seeing this overabundance because Bill Pulte has been doing it too. So we're seeing it from Grassley, from Pulte, from a lot of these players who are in the know that are kind of like throwing this out there that kind of distract the crowd so they don't know the next moves. And this is going to, dude, we are in the fourth quarter right now.
I reached out to an intelligence friend. Because despite what people may want to say about us and think about us, and I'll tell you guys, because me and Josh, we bounce ideas off each other. We want to make sure, hey, are we going too far out into left field here? Am I reaching for this? So I reached out to an intelligence buddy and I said, hey, man, historically, these are kind of the names and the people that we've looked at for this stuff. And for the record, he completely doesn't, at least on the surface level, from what he tells me, believe in Q or any of this stuff. He thinks we're absolutely nuts, right? But he's also never looked into it. But nonetheless, I kind of gave him, like, these are kind of the names that we've historically looked at. Again, like Flynn and Trump and Scavino and Miller. And I told him, if you're moving, and I told him, if this was going on for, 7+ years that way, and you're moving into the final phase, and one of the reasons I reach out to this guy is, there's very few people that I respect at planning operations more than myself because of the way I worked at it. And this guy's one of them. And so I asked him, if you're moving into the final phase of an operation and you couldn't keep it the same, but you had to still get information out there, what are some of the things you changed? And I'm summarizing a very long conversation here, obviously. And one of the things that he said is, I wouldn't just use the names that you guys are used to looking at. He goes, because then you gotta force the real investigators to start finding the relevance in other names, because then that expands what everybody's used to looking for. So if everybody's been preparing for the final phase, and he's talking about the bad guys, not the good guys, they know what names to look for, just like you guys.
Yep.
So if you're trying to be ahead of them by anywhere from 12 hours to 24 hours, then you got to change it up by introducing new names.
You got to introduce this distraction and chaos into the system in case you are compromised. And Trump actually gave an indication of this last weekend, that there was compromise, and we can go into that decode. But the first thing I want to go into this, because guys, I want you to understand that we are in a full-blown military operation right now. Okay? Full-blown military operation. All of that stuff that people talked about with military control and all this, it's happening now. It's literally, we are there. Now, it's hard to start somewhere, but I got to start somewhere. Now,
listen, hey, if we got to do Pulp Fiction and go back, go forward, come back to the middle, that's all we're
I don't think you've seen this yet, and I'm going to pull this up right now, okay?
You got me excited, bro. Fire off.
Well, this is not something to be excited about, but it's something that's going to set the precedent for the conversation we're about to have. This is Trump's latest Truth Social post, okay? The big question to be answered is whether or not President Xi of China will mention the massive amount of support and blood that the United States of America gave to China in order to help it secure its freedom from a very unfriendly foreign invader. Many Americans died in China's quest for victory and glory. I hope that they are rightfully honored and remembered for their bravery and sacrifice. May President Xi and the wonderful people of China have a great and lasting day of celebration. Now, who's there right now? North Korea's Kim Jong-un and Vladimir Putin. And he says, please give my warmest regards to Vladimir Putin and Kim Jong-un as you conspire against the United States of America. Look at that last line. Look what that says, people.
Damn.
Please give my warmest regards to Vladimir Putin and Kim Jong-un as you conspire against the United States of America. President Donald J. Trump. He just called out China, Xi Jinping, for conspiring against the United States of America. Now, why? We're going to get into it. I'm going to lay it all out with all the events that happened since last Tuesday to present day, including Venezuela today, Bill Gates visit the White House, CDC purge, all of this. We have to understand if we want to understand what that statement means specifically. Going back to our conversation last week, Alpha.
Can I give a little hint? And this is the first time that I've seen it. So just shooting from the cuff. If what I'm thinking we're going, and I hope I'm wrong about this, and you put us in the other direction. But as I read that as, especially with putting blood in quotes, and I understand the full context of the post. If you know your deep state enemy wants a war, a world war, one of the biggest wars that probably humanity's ever seen, and you know that it's the inevitable, there's nothing that's going to stop that from happening. Then if I'm Trump, what would I do? Knowing that, there's parts of, Putin's dealing with an infiltration, Xi's dealing with an infiltration of their own deep states, knowing that all this exists, would I start the war in my terms early in order to dictate how it unfolds and catch them off guard?
Love it. Beautiful. Perfect. So, remember last week in our conversation with the cartel wars, we were talking about all of this? Now, I mentioned this, and I'm going to mention this again for everybody out there listening to us. When we start talking about the illegal immigration into the United States under the Biden administration, the 4 years, 23 plus million people, we know we had at least 2 million Chinese military age males that came over our border. We know that we had Tren de Agua. We know that we had cartels. We know we had gangs from Central Latin America, those areas, and Mexico. We also know that we had Hezbollah Unit 910, Al-Qaeda, Taliban, ISIS-K, Northern African militant groups that all came over. Now, what we heard about during the Biden administration was Darien Gap. Darien Gap, UN set up in Darien Gap, which is in Panama, which is the edge of Central America. And there's a bridge that connects Panama to Venezuela, known as the Bridge of Americas, and it's the only man-made structure connecting South America and Central America. But one thing that was never really talked about is where did the people from the Middle East, Africa, and China, How did they get to Darien Gap? Well, they came in through Venezuela. How did they cross the Atlantic Ocean? Who funded the planes and the ships? China. And this is going to become incredibly relevant in everything that we're talking about right now. So China funded the illegal immigration. So for everybody out there, if you're wondering, for the last 5 years, I've been talking about something known as the firestorm event. The firestorm event is basically what would occur if Kamala Harris had won the election or if they were successful against Donald Trump. How does it work? You have social and cultural destabilization, a color revolution that happens in the majority of the major U.S. cities inside the biggest states. During this point in time, protests turn to riots, riots turn violent, the cities begin to burn, like the dry test run that we had in the Summer of Love in 2020, known as the George Floyd riots. You get the cops all dispersed, you get the National Guard called up, but they can't react fast enough. It takes 24 to 48 hours to deploy National Guards to these cities. During this time frame, sleeper cells are activated. This is MS-13, this is Tren de Agua, this is gangs, and this is cartels that start massive shooter situations, mass crime, violent crime, and police go on all-call situations and triage the situation. You got to remember, military is not on site yet. During that point in time is when the terrorist organizations like Hezbollah Unit 910, that is trained by the Iranian Revolutionary Guard, gets activated. And there's thousands of them in each one of these cities, and they begin to take over critical infrastructure. Once they've taken over critical infrastructure, they've taken over the political heart. The military now is finally there. They can't do anything because all of these major cities in the United States of America have fallen. In other words, in order for the U.S. to take back those cities from just a few thousand terrorist groups inside the major cities, you're talking Fallujah times 50. Okay? You're talking a 3-year-long fight to get those cities back. But what happens at that point in time? Now, 2 million Chinese military-age males put their uniforms on and they walk into the United States of America, and now Chinese military occupies all of those states and all of those cities in one fell swoop without a single shot fired by China. That was the plan. That was what was going on and unfolding in Venezuela, was one of the key command posts in all of this, and still is a key command post. This is what the Obama administration was selling us out for. This is what all the preparation was for. Trump's post right there talking about how we built up China, he's not wrong, because the Obama administration gave them military technology, SAP programs, gave them money through various different international organizations and through our funding through proxy organizations, United Nations, NGOs, so forth, directly to China. So China equals Venezuela. What we're about to see happen in Venezuela is a proxy war with China. Shots were fired today. We're going to look at that here in a second. Now, if people did not see this video of what happened in Venezuela, number one is Alpha and myself last week on this show, and many times prior to that show, told you specifically, Venezuela is up next. Shit is about to go down. We're about to go to war with the cartels. Alpha was saying specifically, firstly, you don't build up 4 destroyers, 2 cruisers, a nuclear submarine, 2 amphibs, 4,800 Marines, the showboat around Central America. That is an operation in planning. Something's about to go down. And what happened today? Part of that operation went down. If you didn't see it, and I will bring some context to this, because for everybody out there, I served 10 years in the United States Navy, and my first 6 years in the United States Navy. And Boats Lawson, I know you're out there, Boats. I know you're listening. Yeah, I saw you at Badlands, man. Boats, this is what we did, buddy. So
before you go on Boats, shout out Flying Storm, just gifted 20 subscriptions to our Badlands media audience. Thank you for that. Continue, brother. And Boats, continue with the excitement.
All right. This is called a Go Fast vessel. This has specifically 3 outboard engines, as you can see here, which should give you an idea of its relative size. They're made to go fast. They carry very little fuel. The way they operate is they would leave Venezuela. They go about 45 to 50 knots per hour, right? And they can go about 50 to 60 miles. They would hit a waypoint. They would drop the cocaine off to a logistics support vessel, which is usually a fishing boat, a large fishing boat. And the fishing boat will take it out to another waypoint and drop it off to another go fast vessel, which would take another 50 miles, and then to another go fast vessel, another 50 miles. And they would just skip through these waypoints directly like this. This is how they operate. This is what we did in the military. Now, when I was in the military, Alpha, firstly, there's rules of engagement of how these things operate. Number one, we are a United States Navy war vessel, USS Wrench FFG 46. How we operated is in international waters, a U.S. Navy war vessel cannot interdict for narcotics or human trafficking. They can only aid assistance. Reason being is we're under the Department of Defense, and anytime a U.S. Navy warship in maritime waters enters on board another ship, it is an act of war unless you get direct permission from the consulate and something actually has to happen. What has to happen is the change of flags of command. In other words, you have something known as Jihad of South. Trump talks about this today, Southcom AOR, area of operation. Also under Operation Jihad of South. This is the command authority, but it works under dual authority with the DOD and the Department of Homeland Security. The reason it operates with the Department of Homeland Security is because you have the United States Coast Guard law enforcement detachment, which does have jurisdictional authority in maritime international waters. They are under the Department of Homeland Security. So when we would find one of these vessels, we would take down the Navy flag and we would raise the DHS flag, and we become a Coast Guard asset at that time, where Coast Guard law enforcement detachments could then go and board these fishing vessels after we got permission from the consulates of the country. That was the only reason that we had legal authority in those areas. And then the Coast Guard would go on board. Then you'd have a security detachment known as the Visit Board Search and Seizure Team that would go on board afterwards. I was a member of that at my first deployment. Okay, so I've been on these vessels. I've shot at these vessels. I've shot twin 50 rounds across the bow of these specific vessels. We've blown out their outboard motors with 50 cal rounds, sniper rounds from helicopters. So when I first heard about this, I'm like, oh, they blew out the outboard engines. Awesome. And then I watched this video, and I want to show you the difference between what I just told you and what happened today.
Before you hit play, pause real quick, because I don't want to ruin it. But our audience is on fire tonight. NASFan gifted 5 subscriptions to our Badlands audience. Harry Velch, or Vetch, I'm sorry, gifted 5 subscriptions to our Badlands audience.
Wow. You guys
like
are
our
awesome.
audience is pumped tonight. Pumped.
Oh, they should be. This is going to be good.
Play
right,
that
watch
video,
this
brother.
video. There's no audio. So this is a go fast vessel. They're actually not going very fast. But what I want you to understand is that what you are seeing in the unclassified video footage, this is not a helicopter. This is an MQ-9 Reaper. Okay? That was a Hellfire missile. That is a complete change in the rules of engagement. In other words, we just launched a Hellfire missile at a speedboat with narcotics on it in the Southern Pacific. Guys, I cannot tell you how much we always wanted to do that, but also that this is a completely different paradigm of mindset to understand the narco-terrorism. That this was a message directly sent to Xi Jinping, to Maduro, to the cartels, to their sleeper cell agents, that this is fuck around and find out. Okay? That was like us sending the smart bombs to Iran and taking out the nuke facilities. It's a FAFO moment. Okay? Now,
did you see? I tagged you in it. What Ezra Cohen posted?
No, I didn't see it.
Here, let me bring it up so you could see it, because it's going to exactly what you're talking about right here. It's just this specific conversation. Let me zoom in on this and switch screens real quick because I have that on a different browser. I almost, and he did this after you did your post.
Oh, wow.
And
well,
so
Ezra's probably listening.
That's exactly where
Ezra, come on, man. Let's go.
I'm going with this. So this is what he puts. If you've served in the Southcom AO working CTCN, you've been waiting your entire career for this modification to the rules of engagement. Shout out to my former colleagues in Miami who made this strike possible. And
that's literally what I just said.
It is, bro. And he made this post after you did yours.
Unbelievable. Okay. Now, there's something more here. Because if you listen to Donald Trump speak and then watch Donald Trump's post about it, this is where things get interesting. Donald Trump says this: early this morning, on my orders, U.S. military forces conducted a kinetic strike against positively identified Trinidad narco-terrorists in the Southcom area of responsibility. TDA is designated a foreign terrorist organization operating under the control of Nicolas Maduro, responsible for mass murder, drug trafficking, sex trafficking, and acts of violence and terror across the United States and Western Hemisphere. The strike occurred while the terrorists were at sea in international waters transporting illegal narcotics heading to the United States. The strike resulted in 11 terrorists killed in action. No U.S. forces were harmed in the strike. Please let this serve as a notice to anybody even thinking about bringing drugs into the United States of America. Beware. Thank you for your attention on this matter. Now, he says,
ask me the question you asked me when we're speaking privately.
How many exclamation points are there, Alpha?
No. Before that one, when you asked me, you go, it says he killed 11. Well, here, I'll just say, it's not to build it up too much and then kill it. So Josh asked me, hey, did you see the boat getting taken out with the rocket? I said, hell yeah, I saw it. He goes, yeah, Trump said they killed 11 terrorists. And my response was, that boat doesn't carry 11 people on it.
That's right. Here's the boat right here. And I pointed it out earlier. Maybe 3 to 5 max. You can't fit 11 terrorists on this boat. And if you look at the video, there's 3 people you can see moving. So why did Trump say 11 terrorists? And then he says, thank you for your attention on this matter with 11 exclamation points, people. Why 11 exclamation points? Hold on. What did the White House post yesterday?
11 lessons.
11 lessons. Are they trying to teach us something? Is he trying to tell us some comms? Like post 11 on the cue boards? P. Military intelligence versus FBI, CIA, NSA. No approval or congressional oversight. State secrets upheld under Supreme Court rulings. Who is commander-in-chief of the military? What does Donald Trump say? But if you want to see the context we're talking about here, look at Donald Trump's. On my orders. Right there. Early this morning, on my orders. What does this post say? Who is commander-in-chief of the military? Wow. That's huge, okay? Under what article can the president impose military intelligence takeover investigations for 3-letter agencies? What conditions must present itself? Why is this so very important? Who surrounds POTUS? They lost this very important power. The one area of the government not corrupt and directly serves POTUS. That's military intelligence. Now, what is he talking about here? Because what must present itself, right? Well, we had this conversation, I think, in DEFCON 0, 2, or 3 about this specifically. What must present itself is the opportunity to come in with a clean house, to be able to appoint it, to have the Senate and the Congress to be able to appoint the people that you want specifically. What are we talking about here? We're talking about how do you take over all 3-letter agencies with military intelligence? It goes back to Q14, people. If you remember this, what must be completed to engage military intelligence over other 3-letter agencies? What must happen? Are you ready for it? Lieutenant Colonel Tulsi Gabbard.
I'm fired up, bro.
Is ODNI, Director of National Intelligence, still an active lieutenant colonel in the United States Army Reserve? Now, this is interesting. Did you know that if you are an active duty officer or military, you cannot hold a cabinet position?
I did not.
You have to retire or step down from your commission. Guess what Tulsi Gabbard has not done?
Right, because that even got brought up with what was it, Waltz? It got brought up with some people.
So let me ask you this: what has Tulsi Gabbard not done? Resigned her commission.
Oh shit, bro.
In other words, people, we are in a full-blown military operation that is dissecting this government with military operations, going through all the intelligence agencies. Now, why do the intelligence agencies matter in this point? Because who runs the global drug, human trafficking, and arms trade around the world? It's a deep state intelligence apparatus.
We got a signal for this last week. You know who it came from?
Who's that?
Check this out. Right here. John Solomon, bro.
Okay.
This was on August 25th. Trump teases renaming the Defense Department back to the historic Department of War next week, which is this week. So last week, he puts this post out there, and we know that he's getting information. They're feeding John information 100%. That's how they're controlling it. And he literally gave us a signal last week, and he says this week. The other thing from last week is you had Trump did the post where the timestamp took you to a Q post, but it was the boom 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 next week, and then right after that, and right after that, Trump does a truth post that has a meme where it says, I think it says like America booming, like just to add a cherry on top, like in case you guys were thinking, here's confirmation, and all that stuff is lined up for this week.
So this is interesting. Maduro, Xi Jinping gave me a Yahweh phone that can't be hacked by gringos. That's where I get everything. China. Understanding what's going on, people. Now, do you remember last week when we showed the clip of the Mexican senator talking about the narco politicians in Mexico? A few days later, a fight breaks out on the Senate floor between the narco politicians and the ones that want to bring in the United States of America. They even called out President Sheinbaum of Mexico. Now, you remember this video that I played last week of the cartels, Alpha. I want to show you something. I didn't notice it last week, but I noticed it this week because I guess I was looking. Remember this video of the terrorists? I'm gonna mute it so we don't hear all the background noise.
Oh, yes, with the uniforms. I remember this conversation. Right. Yes.
Now, where do they get all these nice guns and technology and the uniforms? Well, we got to assume that it's coming from China. We know Chinese special forces operations are operating with the cartels. But stop right there. What's that in his hand?
A drone controller.
Do you know what kind of drone controller?
I do not.
That's a military grade DJI Chinese drone. Why does Mexican cartels have Chinese military technology?
Because just like the phone, they want to make sure the gringos can't hack into it, and because they're a part of it.
Because the operation I was just talking about was about to get going. Because China was going to silently invade the United States of America. They already have their people here. They already had everything set up, and Donald Trump won. We're about to go to war in Central Latin America, people. We're about to just decimate cartels, organizations within that whole infrastructure. Now, the question people should be asking, right? If Venezuela is the command center for part of this global organization, you remember when we talked about Ukraine, Alpha, and I told you that Ukraine is an autonomous nation, that they don't have any affiliation to the EU, they don't have an affiliation to the NATO, that you can do under the radar research in Ukraine without international oversight, right?
Right.
That's why Ukraine is one of the biggest hubs for human trafficking, weapons trafficking, drug trafficking, money laundering, and weapons development, because it's an autonomous country. Well, what did they do in Ukraine? 72 biolabs, biomedical research. We talked about that with the Epstein stuff. They did weapon development, nuclear weapon development under Chernobyl and under Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant. We know that. That was one of the reasons for Russia's special military operation, why they went in, shut down the 72 biolabs, why they went in and took both nuke facilities. Okay? So with that being said, that's the Northern Hemisphere. Where was that same autonomous country in the Southern Hemisphere? Venezuela. Now, do you remember when Donald Trump, Tom Homan, and many others, Jim Jordan, all said, remember the 300, 100,000, so forth children that went missing from the United States of America, and they said, we know where they are? We're sitting here going, go get them. You got the United States of America's military. Go get them. Well, they can't go get them when they're not in our country. Where are they? Well, what other attacks did we see from Donald Trump towards other people this week? We'll get into that. The Bill Gates and CDC and Pfizer. Now, biopharma research, biomedical research. Where is one of the biggest places that these biopharma companies do a lot of research? Well, Venezuela. Where are these potentially all these children? Venezuela. Let me ask you this: is if you know that they had to have waypoints to transfer drugs, guns, and people from place to place, just like they do with drugs. Remember, you were showing me those routes last week. Same thing works in the Caribbean and in the Pacific. Okay, you have to have these certain routes. Well, what islands are centered right in the middle of those routes? Who owned islands out there?
The Bidens,
Epstein. Who had a submarine license?
Maxwell.
Do you start to see all the integration? Now, the question is, not the question. Do you know who Nikolai Mushegan was? Nikolai Mushegan?
No, I don't.
Very not well-known name. Do you know anything about cryptocurrency?
Enough.
Okay. So,
enough not to get jacked.
Do you remember the whole FTX scandal?
I do. That I remember.
3 days before the FTX whistleblower started on Twitter and the whole FTX scandal came down, a gentleman by the name of Nikolai Mushegan posted on X. Now, Nikolai is Russian, and he's one of the founders of a stablecoin cryptocurrency known as DAI, D-A-I. Okay? Now, this is what he posted on his X account 3 days before the FTX stuff happened. CIA, Mossad, and Pedo Elite are running some kind of sex trafficking and entrapment blackmail ring out of Puerto Rico and the Caribbean islands. They are going to frame me with my laptop planted by my ex-girlfriend who was a spy. They will torture me to death. You want to know something interesting, Alpha?
What?
2 hours after this, he was dead, found on the beach. I shit you not. Real story. Now, he was one of the founders of DAI. Now, DAI isn't very popular in the United States of America or even Western nations. It's very popular in a country called Venezuela, adopted after in 2014, 2015, when they had bread lines. Now, if you're a criminal organization, and it's very hard to move money because you got sanctions internationally and stuff like that, but you're a hub of money laundering operations. Well, how do you move the money in money laundering operations? How do you get the fentanyl from China to your country and pay for it? Stablecoins, DAI. But you'd have to facilitate that through an exchange. And you'd have to get liquidity to launder the money. Well, who was an exchange that operated directly out of Puerto Rico in the Caribbean that got busted a few days later? FTX. Now, FTX, remember Gensler, Harvard Connect or MIT connection, that FTX was directly connected to Democrat politicians, that what they were doing is for anybody who wants to understand the FTX scandal, is that let's say we have $5 billion in the bank at FTX, okay? $5 billion cash. That's liquidity for people who want to get their crypto out. What he was doing was writing a $1 billion loan to another company he owned called Alameda Capital. He would do it as an IOU in the books. But on the ledger, the balance of the company never changed. It still showed $5 billion. But they only had $4 billion of actual cash. He would take that $1 billion from Alameda Capital, and then he would go out and begin investing it $1 million at a time into various startup companies. He did this to hundreds of startup companies. When this occurred, we went out there and looked up the startup companies. Now, a startup company usually has some good idea in cryptocurrency and blockchain or whatever it is. They have a great website. None of these companies, all hundreds of them, none of them had a website. The founders, all generic names. John Smith, no picture, no image, no bio. The company, very small little description. One paragraph, if that. All of the companies went out of business. So you funnel the money, $1 billion, into private companies. They go out of business. They just close out the accounts. What did they do with the money? The money flew into Act Blue. The money flew into NGOs and then was redistributed into political campaigns. So let me ask you this. How do you pay off the politicians for turning a blind eye or allowing this to happen? How do you pay off the businesses, the organizations, the banks for accepting your money? You're seeing exactly how that operation worked. This was a massive money laundering operation. This is what was going on. Now, what was one of those dark money corporations that would be involved in this? Did you notice that last week, General Flynn at 6 o'clock in the morning posted about George Soros and Arabella Advisors?
I do.
Did you know that 2 hours later is when Donald Trump first mentioned George Soros and Arabella Advisors in the last 6 months? Just a few hours later. Now, this is interesting because last week we showed you General Flynn said that he is a discreet advisor. We saw that he met with Pete Hegseth immediately after. Pete Hegseth goes and fires the head of the DIA, Defense Intelligence Agency. He said he's meeting with Tulsi Gabbard. He says, if you want a discreet advisor, someone who knows where the bodies are buried, point here, point there, go here, do that. What is his military experience in? Central and Latin American narco-terrorism and color revolution, psychological warfare operations. Oh, that's interesting because of what's going on right now.
And and when you have a moment, I have a video and I want to play the whole thing. It's about 2 minutes. And this is from Hegseth, not long after that meeting with Flynn, but continue.
Yep. So Arabella Advisors, if people don't know who that is, direct association with George Soros, direct association with Bill Gates. The Atlantic wrote actually a good article about them, of how they are a dark money powerhouse moving billions upon billions of dollars around the world that nobody knows where it came from or nobody knows where it's going. So there's a direct correlation and connection between the Open Society Foundation, George Soros, and Arabella Advisors. Now, one of the grants that kept on continually coming to Arabella Advisors was from the Bill Gates Foundation. Now, just the other day, Bill Gates was called to the White House. From what I gather, he wasn't like requesting a meeting. He was called to the White House, told to get your ass over here right now. Bill Gates immediately that morning severed and cut all ties with Arabella Advisors and pulled back all of his grant money. That's not a coincidence. He goes and meets with he goes and meets with Donald Trump. When he comes out of the Donald Trump meeting, what happens? The CDC has a massive purge. 3 people are directly fired from the CDC. Okay? Robert Malone comes out, who's on one of the boards for HHS with Bobby Kennedy. And I have the post somewhere here with Robert Malone. Let me see if I can find it real quick. But he explains it really well, that a whistleblower came forth, and basically what was going on is that there was a vaccine committee comprised of Moderna, Pfizer, all the vaccine companies that were running a coup inside the CDC to take out RFK Jr. That they had $2 million planted in there, and they had moles inside the CDC. Well, Bill Gates gets called in, and 3 of his cronies get immediately fired from the CDC.
And just to add to that, I just want to remind everybody, a few months ago, after RFK took office, there were some content creators that came out and created controversy. One of them being Candace Owens, another one being Ian Carroll, that were saying RFK's been compromised. He's got a handler. There's all this sex scandal. And all of a sudden it just disappeared. The evidence never came.
That's right. Because we can get into that part. We were talking about that earlier. This is what Donald Trump just said yesterday. It's very important that the drug companies justify the success of their various COVID drugs. Many people think they are miracles that saved millions of lives. Others disagree. With the CDC being ripped apart over this question, I want the answer, and I want it now. I've been showing information from Pfizer and others that is extraordinary, but they never seem to show those results to the public. Why not? They go off to the next hunt and let everyone rip themselves apart, including Bobby Kennedy Jr. and the CDC, trying to figure out the success or failure of the drug companies' COVID work. They show me great numbers and results, but they don't seem to be showing them to many others. I want them to show them now to CDC and the public and clear up this mess one way or the other. I hope Operation Warp Speed was brilliant, as many say it was. If not, we all want to know about it and why. Thank you for your attention on this very important matter. In other words, let's break this down. He says, I have been showing information from Pfizer and others that is extraordinary, but they do not seem to show that results to the public. Why not? Is Trump telling us that Big Pharma lied to him during the first administration and falsified data to get his approval?
Absolutely.
All right.
And, just to add to that, for people to go look up evidence, if you guys remember, there was 2 states, Republicans, Texas and Florida, when they were reporting the highest number of these COVID cases, and Trump said, you know what, something doesn't seem right here. And they were reporting the numbers directly to the CDC. So Trump comes out during one of his pressers and he says, you're now going to report those numbers to the White House as well as the CDC. So not the CDC, the does to us. And instantly, within less than 2 days, Florida and Texas both came out. And what did they say? Hey, there was an accident. We accidentally were double reporting these numbers. They're not as high as they were. And this happened back at the beginning, which was one of the things that pushed these vaccinations was these numbers. And again, that came out of 2 red states, Texas and Florida.
Now, read this line right here. Are we about to see the connection between COVID and the 2020 election? Soros, Dems, and China be exposed? Guys, I want to put this together to you and help this all make sense, okay?
Well, then this video is the perfect thing to
do it. Play it, and then I'm going to go into this part because this is going to blow even your fucking mind.
All right, here we go.
Last month, the Department of Defense was made aware of an Obama-Biden-era legacy program called Digital Escorts. For nearly a decade, Microsoft has used Chinese coders, remotely supervised by U.S. contractors, to support sensitive DoD cloud systems. The program was designed to comply with contracting rules, but it exposed the department to unacceptable risk. I mean, if you're thinking America first and common sense, this doesn't pass either of those tests. So I initiated an immediate review of this vulnerability, and I want to report our initial findings. So the use of Chinese nationals to service Department of Defense cloud environments, it's over. We've issued a formal letter of concern to Microsoft documenting this breach of trust, and we're requiring a third-party audit of Microsoft's digital escort program, including the code and the submissions by Chinese nationals. This audit will be free of charge for U.S. taxpayers. I'm also tasking the Department of Defense experts with a separate investigation of the digital escort program and the Chinese Microsoft employees that were involved in it. These investigations will help us determine the impact of this digital escort workaround. Did they put anything in the code that we didn't know about? We're going to find out. Additionally, all Department of Defense software vendors will identify and terminate any Chinese involvement in DoD systems. It blows my mind that I'm even saying these things. It's such common sense that we ever allowed it to happen. That's why we're attacking it so hard. We expect vendors doing business with the Department of Defense to put U.S. national security ahead of profit maximization. I'm committed, like the president is, to ensuring that our national security networks are secure. Again, it's America first, and it's common sense. This never should have happened in the first place, but once we found out about it, we've attacked it aggressively from the beginning, and we're going to follow all the way through the tape to make sure that this is addressed. So DoD is working in conjunction as well with our partners in the rest of the federal government to ensure that all U.S. networks are protected.
This is following that meeting that he had with Flynn.
Okay. So you already know what I'm about to say. I've already told you on this. I'm pretty sure the majority of the people in the audience have no idea what I'm talking about. I consult in the real world, AI, tech. I used to be chief operating officer of a cyber company. I got called into a meeting with the Department of Homeland Security. Okay, I don't think I've ever done this live. It's well past the time frame because it's been resolved, and it was a public conversation. Although I was asked to, right? I've known about this since like July 8th. Not only have I known about it, I know the extent and damage that it did. And the articles that you find about it are not even close to explain what the fuck just happened. Okay? But Donald Trump gladly gave us an analogy about this the other day. Did you see his post about the Rose Guard?
I did not.
about the Rose Garden is complete and far more beautiful than anybody had ever in mind when it was conceived decades ago. 3 days ago, while admiring the stonework, I happened to notice a huge gash in the limestone that extended more than 25 yards.
It's where he turned into a detective.
Now, 234 is the Q post for this. Okay. When you're no longer seeking another term, you are free to make better decisions. Rapid fire flood is coming. Future proofs the past. Okay. So the analogy of the Rose Garden, if you want to look at it, goes here. Trump discusses the crack in the limestone in the Rose Garden. He got mad when he found out and demanded to know what it was and what happened. Then he says, we caught them cold. We caught them cold. Now, Q234, this is not Q234, but it's 1434. Okay. 1434, which is military time for that timestamp. Snow White utilized activated the silence. We talked about Alice in Wonderland and Operation Snow White last week. This was not anticipated. Control protections lost. Routing through various networks, jumpers randomly has created connection secretary issues. You already know what I was told. You reading this Q post? Working to resolve, select people, remove, stay strong. We are winning, more to follow. For anybody who doesn't know, is a lot of our classified and let's just say weapon systems were compromised because of this compromise, this 0-day exploit that occurred. Okay.
Holy shit. I got goosebumps right now, bro, because I'm about to show you something.
Because Microsoft was the reason it happened. And it wasn't just Azure, the cloud. It was all of their direct access systems. So in order for a government employee to go into a computer system, he has to scan a digital ID, which would go through Active Directory, and it would give authorization, generate their cookies with generalized encryption, and then they would get access to their level of classification. Well, what was happening was every time that they tried to log in, something would take over control of the system. That bad, people. I can't get into too many details because I respect our government too much, and they asked me not to say too much. But I shit you not, this is very, very real. And this was Trump's analogy to this. So that was one of the other reasons Bill Gates was called in. But there's a direct connection to everything that we're talking about this. Go ahead, if
you're gonna love this shit. I'm letting the video load. I'll play just like the first 20 seconds of it, and actually I'll just play 10 seconds of it, and we'll play this as our closeout video tonight. It's a video Scavino posted. It's 2 minutes. Did you see when Scavino posted the if poem?
I did.
Okay, so
like the word if.
So I'm gonna play. Like I said, I'm gonna play about 20 seconds of this. We'll play the whole video at the end of the show tonight. But this is the video that comes from when he quote posted it. So here's this, folks.
If by Rudyard Kipling. If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you, if you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowance for their doubting too, if you can wait and not be tired.
I know you guys want to keep watching it because it moves you. So do I. But we will finish it. Here's what I want to bring up. Here's the video where Scavino posted. This is on August the 30th, 5:11 my time. So this is 8:11 East Coast time. So 2011 and 2011 military, 8:11 civilian time. So when I saw this, I was just like, there's something here. So here's post 2011. Snow White 6 now offline.
There you go.
You were just talking about that, bro.
Yeah, we talked about the whole show last week and Alice in Wonderland and all of this stuff.
100%. And then when you go to 8/11, it's February 22nd, and it ends. For those watching, this should scare you. It's the power you depend on to survive. Money is worthless without those in power serving you. White House military patriots ready to play Q.
Now, for everybody who doesn't understand, the deep state had an insurance policy that they installed in defense systems, in classified systems, in command and control systems. And it went active on the day that criminal indictments were sent to the DOJ for James Comey and John Brennan. I'll give you that much right now. Okay? It was meant to make us vulnerable. It was meant to shut Donald Trump down. And everything was supposed to kind of escalate from that point. Now, Microsoft is a big play in this. Bill Gates obviously involved in it, but he's also involved in the COVID side of it. Okay. Now, remember I was just talking about the vaccines and Trump's calling out the vaccines. He's going to go after them now. We've been waiting for this for a very long time. But I want to point something out. Trump tells you that in 2020, and since that day, he's been going under false information that the vaccine companies lied to him. Now, Alpha, I want to ask you a question. Everything that you...
No, I meant fire off. Like, you're good. I meant fire the question off.
So I want to ask you a question. With everything that you know up to this point, if you were a massive CEO of a large corporation and Donald Trump asked you for some information, would you lie to him?
Hell no. That's the president of the United States.
But if this was 2020 and you knew you were going to make hundreds of billions of dollars off of it, if it got approved, would you still lie to him? No, I wouldn't.
You're not, because you don't survive it.
Unless you knew something.
If you knew he was no longer going to be around. Oh,
if
shit.
you knew he was no longer going to be around, then you have no problem lying to President Trump and giving him false information. Oh, fuck. Do people understand what that fucking means? The pharmaceutical companies were in on it. They knew Trump wasn't going to be president in 2020. That's why they knowingly lied to him and falsified information so they could get their payoff, hundreds of billions from the vaccine.
If they knew, since he had already won one election, they had to come up with the contingency.
Yep.
And they told these big tech and these big pharma CEOs, if Trump manages to not let us steal the election, we're going to kill him. Mm-hmm. So no matter what, you have nothing to worry about. No matter what, he won't be president. We're either going to take the election from him or there'll be an assassination and he won't be president. That was their playbook. That was their plan.
Now, I love this because, firstly, let's draw the connections back, okay? So going back to FISA, remember, FISA equals start, FISA equals foundation, layers built upon layers. This is what I talked about in DEFCON 01, DEFCON 02. I've been talking on my show for years now. So we start with FISA Gate. June 26, 2016, under the new declassified DNI, Gabber declassified the classified annex from John Durham that showed an email from the Open Society Foundation, George Soros' organization, Leonard Bernardo, sending an email to Singletary, another person in the EU, in the Open Society Foundation, saying that Julianne Smith, the foreign policy advisor to Hillary Clinton's campaign, had talked to Hillary, and Hillary has approved the plan to use the Russia collusion narrative against Donald Trump, but we have no evidence, so we'll have Threat Connect and CrowdStrike produce it for us. June 26, 2016, important date, because June 27th is the day that Bill Clinton meets on the tarmac in Phoenix Airport with Attorney General Loretta Lynch. And this is where Admiral Rogers captures the audio where he's promised her the Supreme Court seat if she drops the email case against Hillary Clinton. Then remember Donald Trump at the Albert Moro or whatever it was dinner that he did with Hillary Clinton there, and he roasted Hillary Clinton. He said, Hillary already knows about confessions. She spent the whole 4th of July weekend with FBI Director James Comey. Now, he wasn't president then, but he knew. Because that July 4th, she spent the weekend with James Comey, and then July 7th, she was with Barack Obama on a plane trip on the Air Force One to North Carolina. So, but that's the Open Society Foundation, who was the mastermind behind that. So now you go into the 2018 midterms, which was supposed to be a red wave, but it didn't happen. Remember, certain states got completely turned blue. Colorado, Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Georgia, Arizona. And what was funded through Act Blue, Arabella Advisors, Open Society Foundations was the Secretary of States and the Attorney Generals. Now, why did they need the Secretary of States and Attorney Generals? because it would only matter when COVID came around. You got to remember, Pfizer and Moderna patented the spike protein back in 2014. This was brought about after gain of function research was canceled. EcoHealth Alliance, Peter Daszak to the Wuhan Institute of Virology. Fauci was running that program, funded it with $3 million grants. Bill Melinda Gates Foundation was directly involved in that research. In 2018, we're developing zoological COVID-19 types of different types of antibody testing. They bought George Soros and Bill Gates bought Mologic, a testing company that owned the patent rights to test with the swab testing prior to COVID-19. Let me take a breath. Okay. So 2018, we go in there, and what do we see? We see George Soros funding the Attorney General and the Secretary of State's campaigns. They win in those swing states that didn't make sense then, but only makes sense in 2020 because COVID got released. COVID happens, a major pandemic globally, and then the election rules changed. The election rules changed. Who changed them? It was the Secretary of State in the swing states that George Soros had just campaigned for in 2018. But then people rose up and said, hey, you can't do that. So what did? They sent it to the Attorney General, who says, yep, they can do that. Another person that George Soros campaigned for. This changed the election laws and allowed the mail-in ballot fraud to actually occur. Then what happens is you have the ballot spoofing that goes on, Smartmatic software in every single one of those states. And Joe Biden wins the election because of all that fraud. Now, Smartmatic is another key component in this because you have Lord Malik Brown, who was the CEO of Smartmatic from 2014 to 2020. Lord Malik Brown also was on the board of directors of the Open Society Foundations with George Soros. Now, who owns Smartmatic? Venezuela owns majority shareholding of
shit.
Now, the pharmaceutical companies come in. They are the ones doing the biopharma research on COVID-19 vaccines because they knew the military was doing the research. They got the research directly from EcoHealth Alliance, Peter Daszak. That's why they patented the spike proteins in 2014. So now they know that it's going to be released. How did they create all of those vaccine vials in a short period of time? Because they made them years prior in China. The same Moderna, Pfizer, so forth, because they knew it was coming from as early as 2018. They knowingly lied to Donald Trump because they knew he wasn't going to be president in 2020, and they just wanted their big payday. Wrapping it all around, that's what's happening and unfolding right now. China, Venezuela, pharmaceutical companies, George Soros, Arabella Advisors, Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton directly involved in all of this. Now, let's go to the Hillary Clinton time.
Hold on. You're making. I gotta take a drink, bro. Hold on.
Are people like following?
Dude, it is because there's, one. Everybody's like, dude, it's crazy. The chat is in love with the show tonight. But this also makes me think, back to the old, quote unquote conspiracies of the massive plastic grave. I can't even think of what do you put a dead body when they die? Caskets. The coffins, yeah, that were being placed all these places, like that were allegedly going to be FEMA camp things, but they were expecting a lot of people to die, and it wasn't going to be through bullets in the head. It was going to be through this bioweapon. This bioweapon was supposed to kill a lot of people. Off of what I'm listening to you talk about right now.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now mine's going to be officially fucking blown.
This is crazy. Before you hit play, shout out to Les Stoney69, gifted 5 subscriptions. And just for the audience, because the audience has grown significantly since the last time, Rumble rants we will read at the end of the show. The reason I do the gifted subscriptions during the show is because those disappear and I'll forget. So we do see the Rumble rants. We're going to get to them. Thank you guys for all the Rumble rants, because that's how me and Josh feed ourselves. So we appreciate it. So with that, please, this hit play on this, brother.
Donald Trump posted this on the same day all the information came out about Arabella Advisors. Bill Gates met at the White House. He posted this on his True Social. I'm going to play just a little bit for you.
Now, if I remember correctly, wasn't this a few hours after we were talking about those specific posts on last DEFCON? If I remember the story correctly.
Last DEFCON was...
It was
yes, this was. So I'm going to play this for you.
Okay, shout out CR Dub 1776 gifting 5 subscriptions. Damn, I love you guys. All right, play it, brother. Hit play.
Ain't found a way to kill me yet. The bullet screams me round.
They just tried to kill President Trump.
Boom. Did you hear it?
They just tried to kill President
They
Trump.
just tried to kill President Trump. Who tried to kill President Trump?
Alice in Chains.
Alice in Chains, right? So let me go back here because I had it all ready with everything else. Okay.
Shout out Flying Storm gifted 10 subscriptions to Badlands. Damn, bro. Like,
You guys are awesome. Appreciate
we
it
got
so much.
we got good people supporting this show, man.
All right. Yesterday, Trump met with Bill Gates, after which Bill Gates began separating from Arabella Advisors. Last night, Trump posted the video with Alice in Chains. Today, Flynn and Trump call out dark money, Arabella Advisors, and Soros in connection with the Q post below. The delta for today, this was posted on 8/27. 8/27, the delta for today. Clinton Foundation inflow stop equals no-name institution inflow ramp. Who's the no-name institution? Arabella Advisors. Compare donors. Define dark money. Direct correlation. Did Trump just make the connection for us to Arabella Advisors, dark money, Clinton, Soros, and the ones who funded his attempted assassination? Now, the name of the band was Alice in Chains. If you go back to the WikiLeaks emails, Marty Tory is the Mad Hatter. Hillary Clinton is Madam Alice. HRC equals Alice. Who are the White Rabbits? Alice in Wonderland. Alice in Chains is but playing during the Trump assassination video. What is he telling you here? They tried to Clinton side. Why? Because if you know what was going on around the time of Butler, Pennsylvania, Joe Biden was getting ready to step down. We know that he was in talks with Donald Trump. Barack Obama was pressuring him. The idea was that Joe Biden was going to endorse nobody after he stepped down, not Kamala Harris, and that at the DNC, Hillary Clinton and Michelle Obama would take the role, or Hillary Clinton and Newsom would take the role and become president, but they had to remove Donald Trump first. When Donald Trump's failed assassination attempt occurred in Butler, Pennsylvania, do you remember the video of RFK when he had the videography at his house and his son leaked the video on social media? And he came out and I apologize for all this. It shouldn't have came out. But in the video, he's talking to Donald Trump. And he said, Donald Trump was telling me a story that happened right after Butler, Pennsylvania. And he was saying that the first person that called him when he got to the hospital was Joe Biden. And he said, Joe Biden was like, man, are you okay? Oh my God, I heard the bullet graze your ear. And he's like, we were buddies. He says that Donald Trump was telling me that it was one of the best conversations I ever had with Joe. We were like two friends and we were buddy. That's not normal considering a week earlier they were at each other's throats on the debate stage and Trump embarrassed him. In other words, I came out on July 16th and said Joe Biden and Donald Trump made a deal. The deal will be Joe Biden will be stepping down and he will endorse Kamala Harris. A week later, Alpha, it happened. And you remember, the Democrats were even saying that the letter was not Joe Biden. Joe Biden did not sign that letter. It had to be his chief of staff. That's what the Democrats were saying because they were pissed.
And you saw the hesitation from every major Democratic name that didn't want to get behind Kamala, Obama being one of them, because Biden caught him off guard. That was not the plan.
Biden made a deal. What was the deal? Well, what has Donald Trump set in the narrative over the last 9 months? Joe Biden was absent from the White House. He has dementia. He didn't even know he was there. He was not running the White House, which means that all the crimes that occurred over the last 4 years, Joe Biden is not complicit in. That was the deal. So who was behind it? Well, Hillary Clinton wanted Donald Trump out of the way so she could run, be the DNC candidate and become president. That was what was going to happen, but they missed. The shot heard around the world.
I want to bring 2 posts up. If you didn't watch DEFCON ZERQ last week, go and watch it. There was 2 posts that we talked about towards the tail end of the show. And there was these 2 posts. Remember, this is last week, post 83. Simplified, Alice in Wonderland, Hillary in Saudi Arabia, references Hillary Clinton in Wonderland by Lewis Carroll, Saudi Arabia, the bloody Wonderland. And then it was this post, which is 2049, August 31st. And it was HRC equals Alice, SA equals Wonderland. Who are the white rabbits? Reid drops regarding SA, have faith for God and country. A few hours after the show, Trump goes and posts a truth that reference what we were talking about here. And then all of a sudden you have the following day, which is the video that gets put out that you're talking about, Alice and James.
Yep.
Literally all this within less than 12 hours of us bringing up these two specific posts on DEFCON last week.
Well, for everybody out there, you got to remember, you heard it here first.
Yes,
like
man.
all those other guys, they can listen to this show and then they can kind of mold it in, but they're not going to understand it the way that we all understand it. Okay, we weave this shit together. We connect the fucking dots here. And I want people to understand that, you know, there's a lot of people out there that think they know, but they have no clue. And they go out there in front of the camera and they repeat other people's research and information as their own. But you heard it here first. Remember that. Now, did you see this boom the other night? This is how I knew something was about to happen this week. Well, firstly, we'll do this one, then we'll end with the Q plus one. But Donald Trump's last post on August 31st before he went to bed was "Good night!" exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point. Guys, that is absolutely mind-blowing because that's Central Time. 9:54 is Central Time. But the Q post for 9:54 Eastern Time next week, boom, boom, boom. Now, I want you to notice a few things here. Donald Trump says 5 things here. Good night, exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point. Good is an adjective. Night is a noun representing time. And exclamation points represent emotional excitement. Next week, boom, boom, boom. 5 points of context. Next is an adjective. Week is a noun representing time. Boom, boom, boom are 3 points of excitation. He told us right there. Next week, boom, boom, boom. Today, what did we have, Alpha? Quite literally, a boom.
We had a legit boom.
This is how you decode this stuff.
I'm looking for something that lines up with the timestamps. I have so many tabs open from yesterday, but it's just confirming that because he did this a few minutes after he posted something. I know I didn't close it. I just got to search through all these damn things. Dun. Come on, baby. I know I have it. Getting closer, I think. All right, that means it's farther back. Let's see. Oh, no, it's a truth one. That's why. Sorry, man. Here we go. So you have right here. Oh, you guys can't see it. I should bring it up. Let me bring yours down, bring this one up. This is from its truth. This is from its truth, August 31st. This would have been at 2/3/446. So 1646 or 446 civilian time. Trump's economy is booming. And again, this ties into some other posts.
Right below it, 3 check marks.
Boom, boom, boom.
Booming, 3 check marks.
And if I remember correctly, let me see. This was 2/3/446. 446 took me to 1646, which is this drop right here, which is June 30th. You have a choice. They want you divided. It's a long post that's right here, but it has the link to this video. And then it finishes with, we hold these truths to be self-evident. And then when you go to that video, it is
our movement.
Yes.
It's about replacing a
it's the
failed and corrupt. Mm-hmm.
It's that speech right there, brother. That's the one.
What was the timestamp?
The timestamp on that was, let me go back to it. The boom one is 2/3/446, so 1646 hours. Here, let me bring it up so everybody can see it. It's 1:46 my time. So if you guys are like, what are you talking about? That East Coast time would have been 2/3/446, so 1646. would have been the East Coast time for this truth social truth post that President Trump put out there.
Okay. Now he posted something else this weekend as well that got the whole world in uproar.
Yes.
The world will soon understand nothing can stop what's coming. Q plus in his hand. Now, interesting enough, by the way, mine is central time frame, which means that East Coast time frame, this would have been at 6 p.m. What's 6 p.m. in military time, Alpha?
1800.
What's 17 plus 1?
18.
Q plus represents 18. He posted at 1800.
He did.
It's not a coincidence, guys. We are watching the Q boards come to life in real freaking time, and people need to know how to navigate them. I'm glad to be on Badlands because now people can learn how this is all works and operates.
Well, let me add some more stuff that unfolded with this.
Oh, do it. Kirill Dmitriev.
Before we even get to Dmitriev, but I'm gonna walk it in the steps. Newscom, how it happened. So Newscom decides I'm gonna, quote unquote, shout out Ibanal, gifted $10 in subscription for Badlands. 10 subscriptions out there. You guys are phenomenal. And make sure I didn't miss. Yes, Euro Chingo 97. My bad, brother. I know I butchered that one. Gifted 20 subscriptions.
Jeez, thank you guys.
Nevada Night Owl gifted 5 subscriptions. CR Dub 1776 again 5 subscriptions. Hold on, it looks like I missed a couple here. And then back to Flying Storm. If that's an old one, that's fine. Gifted 20 subscriptions. You guys are talk about taking care of each other. Thank you guys. Newscom does this post. It's the exact same post that Trump does, but he replaces Trump with himself. Now, some people say, "Oh, Newsom is trolling Trump." Is he? Because you are shoving the red pill down the normies' throats right here. Shout out Breadmaker62 OG with $10 in subscriptions right there to people. Man, you guys are freaking fantastic. So this is getting the normies to be like, hey, well, hold on. Why is a Democrat? Why is Governor Newsom posting something about the Q thing? It gets the people to start asking questions. I was telling my audience, Josh, last night, if it would have just ended there, it would have been awesome. That I would have been happy with just that. Just the fact that Trump posted it in this, it would have been, but it didn't end there, folks, because then you have Flynn that comes out, and then Boone he reposts Flynn's truth, and Flynn says this. Now remember, Flynn, he's cracked on the Q-tards, he's denied the boards, he's this, and literally he comes out, and this is a statement Flynn makes. I absolutely love the fact that he has the cojones, translates balls, to post this type of impression, because you know what? He's right. Nothing can stop what is coming. And this is the Trump with the Q plus in his hand, and nothing can stop what's coming. So then I was like, Josh, Trump does it, Newsom does it, Flynn does it. I'm already happy. You don't need to give me any more. And folks, you saw what Josh was talking about right now. It didn't stop. And then you have Krill comes out and he reposts Trump's the meme that Trump did and says President Trump reposted Q plus the post. Now, and just so you guys know, he's the special envoy for Putin out there in Russia. Shout out Flying Store gifting another 5 subscriptions. I feel like freaking come on down. So Price is Right, baby, with these subscriptions. I love it. Keep taking care of each other. And if that wasn't enough, if that wasn't already badass, he's saying, look at the special
envoy to Vladimir Putin.
Vladimir Putin does this. If that wasn't enough, because he already did it, then he comes out and doubles down. And he reposts Shadow talking about that he did this post. And this is what I found very powerful. He writes Q plus and then does the Russian flag, shaking hands with the American flag. That is such a powerful freaking statement.
It's huge
right now
because Kirill Dmitriev is an special economic advisor to Vladimir Putin, who was appointed in February of 2025. means he was appointed just recently. And he's got dual connections to the United States of America. Now, who ends up reposting Kirill Dmitriev's post? Do you remember? Oh, you didn't see this part, did you?
Maybe I didn't see this one. You're telling me there's more because I was already happy with all this.
There's more.
Get out of
now
here.
I'm about to bring Kirill Dmitriev.
Let me pull this down.
Okay, let me find the post. It's not too far away. I was actually going to speak on all of this, but I can bring this post up and kind of bring some context to here.
This is wild because I was already happy with all that. I was like, here's the point while you're looking for it. That I'll share some words with people. If anybody was trying to doubt that President Trump or General Flynn or others are either part of the boards, in collaboration with the boards, at least have an awareness of the board. If anybody thought that any of that stuff was not possible, at a minimum, those things are possible. A minimum. What you're seeing here, and Josh has said this, is these guys are absolutely a part of this operation. And they're showing you in real time. And the only reason they would push it to the edge of the envelope like this, if something big was about to go down.
Exactly. Remember, when do you ask the cue? When it's all about to happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we can do that one too. So let me bring up Dimitri. My computer key. I think I got too many windows open. Hold on, that's yesterday's. Man, it's going really, really slow over here. Did you see Bill Clinton saw with a scene with a defibrillator?
I haven't seen it, but I've been hearing people talk about it. I haven't looked into it though.
Okay, so where is it?
And to our YouTube family, we do see the super chats, and when we do the Rumble rants tonight, we'll be doing the super chats too. So we didn't forget about you guys over there. Do us a solid over there on YouTube. Share this out. Help us grow the YouTube audience. Let them know about Badlands. Let them know about DEFCON ZERQ. Let them know about Josh and Alpha. We really rely on you guys to help get the word out and help this show grow. And you guys have been doing a fantastic job. The only reason that this show has been in the top 10 leaderboard since its inception is because of you guys and the support of you guys. So just know that we're very grateful for that.
There we go. High five. Okay. So Kirill Dmitriev. Here's his post, right?
Right.
Q plus post. Look who retweeted it. Oh, let me pull this up, blow this up for you.
Yeah. I'm old, bro. No.
So we have Kirill right there, Q plus.
So even Flynn doubled down.
Pacem and Terrace, peace on earth, peace to men of goodwill. The idea recognizes human dignity and global community built on truth, justice, charity, and liberty, just as our U.S. Declaration of Independence declares the ideas of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. There are also many universal themes: inherent dignity of human rights for every person on the planet, a need for social order and justice, not just individual rights, but a moral order of all societies. The world is now vastly more multicultural than ever before, and we should promote a sense of shared responsibility. Wouldn't it be better to explore the stars, conquer the deserts, eradicate disease, and tap the ocean's depths, working together instead of moving closer to the irreversibility of nuclear war? We should not lose our patience, nor should we put our adversaries in a position where they cannot draw back without losing face. We must acknowledge there is a universal desire for peace among all nations, all peoples, and all leaders who are of goodwill. We can work with each other if we work as hard at peace as we seem to do at war. People generally call for order in their homes, in their countries, between themselves and their governments, and most free, critically thinking people desire order internationally. In John 14:27, he states, "Peace I leave with you. My peace I give you. I do not give to you as the world gives. Do not let your hearts be troubled, and do not be afraid." Discourse over division and courage make fear of the unknown, and how can we solve our planet's biggest problems? We have many. They appear at times to be chaotic and complex, but God also gave us common sense. Let's pray our leaders use it more often than not. Talking about the Q plus. Now real
quick,
Flynn.
Go back to the verse real quick.
Go back with more.
Well,
Kirill responds back.
Can you go back to the Bible verse?
I can't hear you.
Oh, that means you lost audio. I'm not muted. Jump out and jump back in.
Okay, hold on.
While he's doing that, I don't know if you guys caught that verse, because I was actually going to call on you, the audience, to help out. If I remember correctly, looks like Josh is coming back, and he is. We'll see if his camera catches up with him. He's got to. There he is. Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay. When you have a chance, if you can bring up that Bible verse, I was going to ask the audience, if I remember correctly, I'm a little rusty on my Bible verses, but if I remember correctly, isn't that the statement that Jesus makes when he's leaving the apostles? I think it is, but I'm not positive. And I know we do have some brilliant Bible people in the chat. So,
well, let's bring it up here.
Yeah, John 14, where it says, "Peace I leave you, my peace I give you." Can someone help me out? Is that the one that he says before he leaves the apostles? I'm trying to see if anyone in the chat.
Alpha, it's Flynn, and you have to understand who Flynn is. What is one thing that Flynn says a lot, especially being a retired Army general?
Well, the one thing
For
is
God and
country.
That's right. 1427 on the cue boards. Do you know what it is?
It is, yes. So I am correct on that. So go ahead and I'll tell you why I was asking.
1427. Look underneath it.
For God and country. Well, the reason I asked...
Who made the cue boards, do you think? Designed after Bible verses.
Well, here's the other thing. I had some flags popping up in my timeline that are old. I actually showed it last night. Nobody retweeted. Nobody commented on it. There was nothing to make it populate in my timeline. It was an old static post, and I'll bring it up to show you. But here's why I brought up if that was what Jesus was, if what Jesus was saying before he left the apostles, because if Flynn's making that statement and it correlates with that part of the story in the Bible, can we expect that we're probably going to go dark for a few days, or maybe there's going to be an absence, or maybe there's going to be some confusion? What I'm trying to say is there a hint that we might feel abandoned for a little bit, but like the Bible verse says, by peace I leave you, by peace I make you, like you're going to be good. Hang in there. And that's why I'm asking. I want to get people's thoughts on that. Let us know in the chat. Let us know in the comments. Here's the flag.
Well,
go ahead.
I want to go into this just one real quick. Give me 3 minutes, not even.
Oh, take your time, brother.
Because this is gonna come back full circle between Flynn and Dmitriev. Do you remember Trump and Putin? Trump rolled out the red carpet. Remember this? We talked about this. Trump rolled out the red carpet for Putin. Moab's inbound. Red carpet rollout. Think logically. The world is watching, right? And then the other one was Moab state dinner. What will be revealed? What did Putin give Donald Trump? Now, do you remember what happened the next day? The next day, Donald Trump comes out and says, I just got off the phone with the European leaders, and they're graciously flying to the United States within the next 48 hours for a meeting at the White House. The timestamp that Trump had for that post was a cue board post that was talking about she had been warned. The EU tend to comply.
Bella.
Okay. And then he had Ben Leiden's post talking about massive children missing across the world an hour later. She's the head of the EU. Right? But then he posts something else. He posts Bela on X. Remember this? Bela?
I do.
Now, do you remember what Bela means?
White.
That's right. It means white. But it's not just white. It's so Bela represents tend to comply, the choice is yours. Here's the post. Tend to comply, the choice is yours, Q plus. But so what did Kirill just say? Q plus, remember?
Correct.
Okay, this is the day after the Putin meeting. POTUS recent tweet relevant here. EU, enough is enough. She was warned. Tend to comply, choice is yours. How did he send the message to Putin that the EU is waving the white flag, or the EU is coming to the United States and they're going to acquiesce?
By doing Bella.
By posting Bella. But Bella represents white, but white in the context of peace. Of peace. Now, go back to what Flynn and Kirill are talking about here. Pacem in terris. Pacem in terris. This is Kirill responding to Flynn again. Pacem in terris, which means peace on earth. Now, what does Kirill end his post with? A white dove. Bella.
Peace.
Bella Dove.
And it's not just a dove, it's a dove with the olive branch.
So remember, Flynn is a special advisor, discreet special advisor. Who do you think is his coordinator with Putin? Kirill Dmitriev.
Boom.
These are the guys that are working behind the scene to negotiate it all. What did they give to Trump? Interesting enough, Kirill's post 3 days before was about John Bolton. How he was saying John Bolton had infiltrated even Russia in the Ukraine. Not only that, is what leverage did Donald Trump have over the EU to get them to fly to the United States within 48 hours? Whatever Putin gave Donald Trump. And what it was the connectivity and the ties, all of the 2020 election fraud to COVID-19. It was the pharmaceutical companies. It was all of the families, the philanthropies, the connectivity of how the EU, the intelligence agencies were directly involved in it. Donald Trump said, I'm going to take you all down. You want war? You got war. If not, get your ass here in 48 hours. Putin gave me it all. What were they doing in Ukraine at the biolabs, biomedical research, allowing it to happen under EU disguise? Remember, it was Germany who ran the biolabs in Ukraine. He got all of the evidence on Europe from Putin.
Boom, 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 boom. This is the flag that I was telling you about. I showed it to the audience last night, and the reason I brought it up was this populated in my timeline. Right here. It's a White House post, but this is from June 23rd of this year. It's June 23rd, 2025. But if you look, none of the people that I follow, there's no recent posts. Everything's from that day. So there's no reason for this thing to be in my timeline. Even when Elon kind of expanded it so certain posts can hold over for a few days, that was just a few days. This thing was nearly a month or over a month old, and it's in my timeline. And so when I saw that, I was like, well, let me bookmark it so I can look into it. And it's it's the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which stands one nation under God, indivisible, and liberty and justice for all. So I was like, well, nonetheless, I love it. But it's a June 23rd date. I should have looked and see if there was a drop that correlated with it. It's a 4:08 a.m. So that would have been 7:08 a.m. So the delta, if anybody wants to look, is June 23rd, and the timestamp East Coast would have been 7:08 in the morning. But I just found it very odd that populated in my feed, especially because me and you have been paying attention to flags, because Bongino was posting the flag with the fire. Trump started posting, America is hot, which is, the flag with the fire. We know that there is symbolism and there's something being communicated with the flag and the flame, because they've been doing it routinely. So part of me was like, well, are they popping a flare here to get my attention to something? But like I said, it was yesterday when I noticed it, so I didn't have a whole lot of time to dig into it.
Dude, it's happening. It's happening, friends.
It is. Well, let's do this. We have time, so let's take 2 calls here. Let me put this on the screen. And let me give you guys some instructions. This is very simple to do. If I can find it.
I broke my computer.
We're going to have to get you another one. As you can see, the directions are right there on the board. You got to go to callme.road.com. You can do it on your phone. You can do it. You can do it on your phone so you can call in. Step 2 is you enter the code PUKYS2, and then you hit call. Now, once you hit call, these numbers are going to start flooding into the board. When I answer it, just give it a second. So you might be like, well, I'm going to hang up and try it again because no one's connected. As soon as you see it connecting, just be patient, hold on for a few seconds, and eventually you're going to hear me on the line saying, hey, caller, you're on DEFCON, let us talk to you. So there's a little bit of delay, so you guys should be getting all these directions, and I'm sure the line will start cooking once you guys start calling like it did last time. So again, callme.road.com. If you do it from your phone, then you can bookmark it so it's even easier for you to do the next time. So again, callme.road.com, and then you enter your code PUKYS2, and then just hit call. Very simple. And then we'll take your calls, we'll take your questions. So we got some time, and then we'll do Rumble Rants after that. And here comes the first one. So I'm going to answer it. And caller, you are on the line with me and Josh. If you can do me a solid, we're getting feedback. So
hello.
Yeah, can you you have headphones or something you can put on?
So John Bolton, that's like connected to the Q clock or Mickey Mouse clock with the 10 and 2. Like the other meaning for that was Joe Biden. Also they said that the Olympics are going to be December 12th, so that's D12, the avalanche and all that.
Well, that's D5.
D5, yeah. I mean, yeah, it's December 5th of whatever year it was. And that's like 250. It's drop 250 is about like Comey and Wiener's laptop and all that stuff. And like there's also all the 22 drops National Guard, like Clean and Swift, like that's in the news a lot. Like they're having the National Guard go to Baltimore, and they've already been they're talking about a bunch of other cities. Yeah, I think also like you guys are saying that Flynn like could be like a government, like a special government employee under like a clearance that's
mostly from the National Security Council under a special appointment. This is why he's actually consulting with DNI Gabbard and Pete Hegseth, who are both members of the National Security Council.
Yeah, you were talking about Tulsi too, and how that drop connected to Drop 11, where the military intelligence gets the control of the intel agency. So she's still like part of the military and to the psyop group and all that stuff too. Yeah, and they opened all those grand juries, and they sent in the officers, and yeah, I think they're gonna use also like the Iron Eagle, like Ezra Cohen Watnick's been like his ex-posts and stuff.
Yeah. Do you have a question?
I don't know, just commenting on a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, no, I get you. Do you have a specific question about anything we talked about that you wanted to know about?
Well, you guys were talking about Venezuela and how the CCP connect to it, and how Hillary is Alice and all that, and how I guess the SAP's special access programs, like the on connected to all that. So I don't know how much you think they're gonna
what do I think's coming?
Yeah.
Oh, I think that we're about to see shit hit the proverbial fan. Nessun Dorma. Donald Trump is about to just go absolutely, like, think about it. When you're no longer seeking re-election, you can make better decisions. And this is what's going to happen. You're going to see the cartels absolutely annihilated and eliminated from Mexico, Latin America, Venezuela. You're going to see the connections directly severed from China because you can't go to war with China. It's not what Donald Trump wants. But he knows that they're still clandestinely operating against the United States with their sleeper cells and everything like that, and the vaccine stuff. And then you're going to see all of that whole loop that I just created around FISA, the layers all around it before and after. You're going to see all of that come to the forefront, and it's all going to be prosecuted. These people are going to go to jail at a minimum.
100%. We have a lot of calls coming in, so we're going to move on to the next call. Andrew, thank you for calling in. Do us a solid, you guys. When you call in, make sure you mute the podcast in the background. The audience gets the feedback, but you really destroy the eardrums of me and Josh since we're wearing these cans on our head. So with that, we'll take the next call. Here we go. Let's see if they're connecting. All right, let's try this next one. Looks like Gina from Oregon. Gina, can you hear us? Let's see. There we go. All right, Gina, can you hear us?
Gina, can you hear us? Oh, yeah.
All right. We can hear you. I don't know if she panicked. It's all some fumbling. All right, let's try the next one. We'll go here. Caller, you're on the line with DEFCON. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. How are you doing?
We're doing good. Who are we speaking to?
Lisa.
Well, thank you. Lisa from Texas. How you doing, Lisa?
I'm doing well. So we have the National Guard and troops in cities. Everything's normalized, which is great under the guise that, things are, everybody wants to have, no crime. Now, obviously, we understand that these are sleeper cells in the U.S. Are they waiting to strike right now? Are they just waiting for a signal to strike, and that's why things are calm? Or are they compromised by our military?
I think you got to, or go ahead, Josh.
Well, yeah, I think that a lot of them have been neutralized. And what I mean by that is, do you remember after Butler, Pennsylvania? And I'm going to say a word here that I don't want people to get mad about. But I think that they did it probably either because they were connected or because they wanted to show their respect for Donald Trump. But Israel decapitated Hezbollah. You remember this? That was one of the best military operations I've ever seen in my life. They absolutely decimated Hezbollah. Now, a lot of the sleeper cells that came over were Hezbollah Unit 910. Todd Bensman testified in front of Congress 2021, specifically from the Texas Immigration Office. He worked in intelligence. He talked about how they documented thousands of Hezbollah Unit 910 members coming over the border, identified, and the Biden administration let them through. So we know that Hezbollah Unit 910 had been neutralized when Hezbollah's head had been cut off. Donald Trump secondarily neutralized a lot of the other terrorist organizations that came over the southern border when he went to Iran, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, UAE. They basically control that whole area. When he did the fuck around and find out with Iran, that was basically a message. If your sleeper cells get activated, I don't care who they are, if they're Houthis, if it's Al-Qaeda, if it's ISIS, we know you fund them. If you do anything, we will bomb the shit out of Tehran, which means that all of those sleeper cells were told to stand down. The Chinese military-age males, if Xi Jinping activated them in any way, shape, or form, Donald Trump would economically ruin China by cutting off their energy and gas, just like he just did to India through proxy through Iraq and Saudi Arabia. The only other component that you have to worry about in the cities with sleeper cells is the gangs and the cartels. And what do we have? We have 20,000 troops on the southern border. We have 4 destroyers, 2 cruisers, 1 submarine, 2 amphibs, 4,800 Marines off the coast of Venezuela. We just blew the shit out of one of their vessels, and we're probably going to bomb the shit out of Caracas and Maduro over the course of the next few days, which is going to be an elimination of those sleeper cells in our country as well. So I think that he's been eliminating much of the threat.
And the only thing that I'll add to supplement that is, before you make these moves, and you know that these moves are made, you do things in the operative standpoint of it, of destroying the lines of communications that exist, so that when you do make these moves and you take down these leaders that are there, the people that are supposed to answer the call behind them, there's no lines of communication going to them. So at that point, they either have orders to follow the directions of whatever their last mission was, or to stand down until they get further instructions. either way, it creates confusion in the ranks. At the same time, they're watching the media just like everybody else is. And as they're seeing these placements of, our military off of Venezuela, the narco boats being blown up, they're seeing these and they're saying, why are we not getting communications or further instructions? And that's how you kind of create this disembobulated system that's happening. On top of that, you see Tom Homan, HSI, the feds, the DOJ, all these guys are arresting the leadership ones. You see a lot of these Sal guys, the leadership's getting taken out. And you can bet your ass that when these guys are getting taken out, they're getting integrated in ways that we probably don't want to even fathom, which just lets us know where the logistics are coming from, where their hideouts are coming from, where their money's coming from. So this way they can work backwards. And all that stuff is unfolding right now in real time. And the way we know it is we would have never put our military in the position that they are with not having the intelligence that it's time to do it, which means everything that I just told you has already started happening.
Thank you so much. I'm so impressed by how America is not freaking out about this, because this has not happened since, Lincoln days. So I'm pretty surprised, but this is awesome. So thank you so much.
Appreciate you.
100%. And to the point, one of the reasons America is not freaking out is you got to remember, Trump is, when you hear the term 4D chess and 5D chess, what does that mean? We are aware of what's going on because we're having these conversations. You guys are listening to these conversations. We're engaged on social media or Substack or podcast. So we understand this level. But imagine you just being a normal person who's watching CNN or Fox. Your scope of knowledge of what's happening doesn't seem as intense of what we're unpacking here, because you just see the surface level of things. So there's no real reason to panic. And so what's made Trump such a master chess player is his ability to deploy this in a way that keeps every tier of where everybody's located in their knowledge base comfortable to not be in a panic mode. So, and of course, all of you guys sharing the information.
You know what I heard today from a good friend of mine?
Fire off.
In the Air Force, active duty. He said that they're absolutely loving what's going on in the South AOR because the Air Force is running missions down there that nobody's hearing about here in the States. And even Monkey Works wasn't able to see any pings because their IFF's off. So what is going on? Do you remember during the Panama invasion how we had special operators outside of Noriega's mansion and they were playing rock music until they gave up? Psychological warfare, right?
Right.
The U.S. Air Force is launching fighter jets, F-16s, that are flying over the presidential palace in Venezuela and doing sonic booms every 15 minutes. Ba-boom!
Just
Ba-boom!
Making them panic.
Now, there's only 10 people that we know of that is protecting Maduro. Now, think about this. There's a $50 million bounty on his head. If you had to hear that every 15 minutes, that is Chinese water torture. Eventually, one of those guys is going to go, you know what? 50 million is way better than this.
100%. We got another call come in. Let's take this. Thank you for the last caller for calling in. Let's see. Well, Lisa shows call ended. So if you want to try calling in again, please do. Oh, here we go. Another one coming in. Let's take this call. Caller, you're on the line. Caller, you're on the line with DEFCON.
Hi there. I'm Gianna from Oregon, and I had a thought this morning.
What's up, Gianna?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. You just do us, if you can do us a favor and just turn your TV down in the background so we don't get the feedback.
Okay, are we good now? I'm so sorry about that.
No, you're okay.
Okay. No, you're okay. Okay, so this morning I woke up and I kind of heard in my head like the Trump card. And I was walking around, I'm thinking, okay, what's up with that? The Trump card, and I'm thinking about it. And all of a sudden it pops into me about when Putin met with Trump and Melania was there, and he gave Melania the Romanov emerald. And so I'm walking around, I'm thinking about that. And then I think about Barron Trump. Barron Trump, he's like doing something political in Florida. I can't remember, a senator or something. And I start kind of thinking, could Barron be the Trump card? Maybe we're looking at it thinking that the Trump card's now, but maybe the Trump card is Barron in the future. Any thoughts?
Yeah, I think that Trump is really setting up all of his kids, Eric and Don Jr., for politics. I think that what you'll see probably next be JD Vance, and then soon after that, you'll probably have Don Jr. run for politics, probably Senate, and then eventually president. And I think that Barron down the road is going to come in. And I think that the idea here is to bring people with the same ideals into the office of the presidency, not in the sense of a control, but people that you trust and know, and that groom them, and I hate to say that word, for politics, which Barron is absolutely being groomed for politics right now.
It's like he's the sleeper. He's the one that they labeled autistic. They made fun of him. And I'm thinking there's something to do with that.
Possibly.
Okay, just a comment. Love you guys. I'm in Oregon. I think I'm the only right winger here in Oregon, but we're out here.
Well, we appreciate you out there in Oregon.
Yeah, I watch you guys every time. I can't wait to hear you. And Josh, I've been listening to you like all night long. I'll play it over and over and over. You've got so much insight. I totally dig you. I just wish I had people to talk to here.
Appreciate you.
Anyway, have a good night.
You too. All right, let's take one more right here. And caller, you are on the line with us. Can you hear us? Hello? No, looks like we lost them. If somebody wants to call in, we'll do one more, and then after that, we'll get into Rumble Rants. We didn't have echoes before, but we're getting echoes this time. So there's
Weird.
no updates. Yeah, it is weird. Well, let me get the Rumble Rants up on the screen, and I'll be able to see if somebody calls in. So let's go over here. If you guys are too shy to call in, but you have a question and you want to drop it in a Rumble Rant, that is another easy way of taking care of business. And we do have a call coming in. Let's answer this one. Caller, you're live on the air. How you doing? Can you hear us?
Oh, I can. Hello?
Yeah, you're live with us.
Oh, my goodness. Okay, I'm a little nervous.
Don't be. We're human. We don't bite. Well, maybe Josh does.
Sometimes.
Are you there?
Yeah, we're here. Can you hear us?
Okay. Yes, my name is. And my question is, in a nutshell, I missed the beginning of the show, so I'm rewatching. But in a nutshell, can you give a short thing? What's going
You broke up right there.
on? I will rewatch it, but I mean, do I need to prepare for a nuclear war? Do I need to know that God is going to take them out? Do you think it's going to be a rest?
I wouldn't be worrying too much about nuclear war. I don't think we're anywhere near that, or that's going to happen. I don't think that there's really going to be any disruption to any of our lifestyles over the course of the next 6 months.
Yeah, and what I would add to that is, if we've learned anything, predictions are always the predictions are dangerous. No matter how much our assessments. It's because you got to remember, if we're doing an analysis and an assessment, that means the deep state has their think tank doing analysis and assessments, which means that there's information that can be being put out by the good guys, so that we do come to these conclusions, because that means the deep state would come to those conclusions. So just understanding the forethought, we got to prepare for it. We got to look at different scenarios. But if we look at the historic data of what Trump's been doing over the last, his presidency, Biden's presidency, the whole setup to this, what we have seen is he never has made any major drastic move where he didn't have the ability to facilitate what he wanted to happen.
100%.
And if we looked at, he's batting 100% on that. That means that when he struck Iran, when he's got involved with affairs in Southeast Asia, when he's positioned our military, north of South America over there for Venezuela, when all this is happening, that means it's because he has the confidence to know that it's going to deploy out the way he wants, or that the percentage of success is so high that the risk assessment is worth it. Like that's the sophistication, that, because you got to remember, this is just not man that's a part of this operational planning. You have artificial intelligence that's being utilized in this process as well. So when you look at all this stuff, I think we will come to the brink of things that maybe we'll get nervous, maybe we'll get concerned, but that trigger is never going to get pulled, because they do have control and contingencies for that. So be prepared, but don't let it make you live in fear. There's no need for that, especially with the success that we've been having.
I agree, but the drop that always bothered me, won't be.
Yeah, you're breaking up there. You said the drop that's always bothering you, and we lost you.
Oh, that the end won't be for everyone.
Yeah, but there's, I mean, you can look at it from, if you're a spiritual person, not does everybody meet the pearly gates? The assumption there is no. But my understanding of the end is not going to be for everyone means that when we get there, there are going to be a portion of people that aren't going to believe what happened. They're going to be in denial. You're going to, even with the wind and the golden gates and the doves flying out of the sky, you're going to have a demographic of people that are going to be like, no, this is too good to be true. That means this is another psychological operation. They're not going to buy into it. You're going to have another segment of the population that just hates America and hates Trump and hates MAGA so much that they're not going to accept it. So you're going to have pockets of people that are not going to accept a good ending. And I think that's what it is. And then obviously, bad guys aren't going to survive this because they're bad guys. So don't think that, it is war. And I talk about this all the time, and I know Josh understands it. You do have casualties that happen in war. And I think we've seen that. We've seen that of things that have unfolded at the border. We've seen it with the stuff that has happened to the kids. We've seen it with, there are people that died from the jab, so good people and innocent people do die, but this is war. This is something we're already living.
Thank you so much. Love all of your shows.
100%. God bless
Appreciate you. Thank you. God bless.
All right, let's get these Rumble rants on the board. You guys, just so you know, the code to call in, it will change every week. So next week there will be a new code. And the reason for that is because when I was trying to do my edit, everybody was trying to call into the sound. I'm like, it's 3 a.m. Who the hell's trying to call into the soundboard? So immediately following this show, the code is going to change for next week. So y'all don't be trying to call the soundboard when I'm trying to work or sleep or anything like that. So with that, let's bring these Rumble rants onto the screen, because I know these people also, we're probably going to have some questions. And let me make this a little bit bigger for us to see real quick, Josh, and then we will call it a night. All right, there we go. And let's start from the bottom, work our way up. Coming right out of the gate to start the day off, $100 from Flying Storm. Let's get ready to rumble. Thank you for that. Hell yeah. $20 coming from Wilson's Acres. The temperature is getting hot. We have been waiting for this time for so long. It's time to brace for the climax. Where we go one, we go all. Thank you, guys. $10 coming in from Texas Jules. Best chat group on Badlands. Love all y'all. Couldn't agree with you more. $10 coming from Harry Vetch. Or is that Vet CH? I think it's Vetch. Former company commander under Colonel General Flynn. Love him. Would love to talk. Holy smokes.
Awesome.
Harry, shoot me a DM. We could definitely get you on this show. We could also probably definitely get you on SitRep, the veteran show. And you can email me at alpha@thealphawarriorshow.tv. alpha@thealphawarriorshow.tv. And we'll connect, Harry. $10 from Irish Girl Tam. Love this show. So do we. Another $10 from Texas Jules. Here's my lurking mode fee. I need to focus. Love y'all. We love the lurkers, even the ones that want to come and steal the content and not give any credit. That's okay. We love you too. $10 again. I'm just going to say Harry V because I don't want to butcher it. It makes me feel terrible. 10 years in the U.S. Army. Right on. Thank you for your service. $10 from V Bartone. Thank you, Josh, for going to Quinny's on September 7th. See you there. Wish you was going, Alpha. Me too, but that's a long way from home. That's
looking forward to it.
That is pretty far. You're gonna get Josh, so you guys can love on Josh for me. $10 from G Henry. Alpha and Josh are like Gatling guns. They start DEFCON ZERQ as rapid-firing multi-barrel machine guns of information and ramp up to modern electric motor-driven rotary cannons.
I love it.
Boom, boom. I like that one. Absolutely like that one. $5 coming from Harry V. Alpha, I thought you were a Marine. Is embrace the suck also a Marine phrase? It absolutely is. And he's talking about the shirt that I'm wearing. If you guys didn't catch that. I knew embrace the suck as Army enlisted and later commissioned. Guessing we're all embracing the suck. We are, and I thought it'd be a great shirt to wear tonight, given all the shit that's been popping off. Let's continue on. $20 from Law Dog 17. I like that name. Alpha, Reid, I love this show and I've been sharing with everyone. Those were the days on the high seas chasing drug smugglers and human traffickers. BM2SW Lawson, aka Boats. Ooh,
That's
yeah.
my buddy.
You got Josh all pumped up over here. I'm glad you guys. Bread Maker.
I knew there was something up with that one because he called me Reid, not Josh.
Yeah. When they call you by the last name, you know exactly what's up. And then Breadmaker 62 becoming a monthly supporter. Thank you, Brett. You are an OG supporting us all on not just Badlands, but our individual channels. So thank you for that. $5 coming in from Mike 9451. Great show. I suggest you watch Monkeyworks' new podcast today, In the Dragon's Den. It goes with your show today. It's about Epstein, Caracas, and Venezuela. I will watch that. I didn't see his one.
I don't think I've ever watched Monkeyworks. I guess I'll.
You know, I used to watch him routinely, man, and then it just we just have so much limited time. So I'll have to go and find out. If you want, Mike, if you can drop us the link down in the comments, you know, we can grab it after the show because the comments still disappear. So if you can go drop it in the comments, everybody can see it. You know, not just me and Josh. $10 coming in from Stuck Patriot. More booms on DEFCON ZERQ than the actual boards. Having a Zevia in Josh's honor. You guys are making me smoke extra tonight. LOL. What the hell's a Zevia?
Zevia is, you know what stevia is? Like
the sugar, right?
It's natural. Yeah, it's a natural sweetener, but it's not like aspartame or anything like that. So Zevia is a soda made out of stevia.
Really? Does it taste pretty good?
Oh, it's great. I love it. I drink this over sodas any day.
I miss soda, man. I miss soda. I did have I took my little princess to the movies this weekend. We went and saw what the heck was it? Bad Guys 2. It was, you know, daddy-daughter date. And I said, you know what? We're at the concession stand. And I was like, I'm getting a root beer. Like, judge me. I'm getting a root beer. It was delicious, but my body felt like shit afterwards. But there you go. That's a little bit of what Alpha did this weekend. So here we go. Monthly supporter. IBU now. Oh, IBU now. Okay, I knew there was something. There's now monthly supporter. Thank you for joining the Badlands family. $5 coming in from Melindy. Something to ponder from Jordan regarding the Space Command move. Yeah, we didn't talk about that. You know, that was the announcement that Trump did today, moving Spacecom's headquarters to Alabama. Yeah, now known as Rocket City.
Now I'm gonna have to go look at Jordan's post.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Al Mevins is now a monthly supporter. Thank you for joining the Badlands family. $20 coming from Quinn. Josh and Alpha are the golden age boom, boom, boom duel. Since things are speeding up, maybe we need DEFCON twice a week. Thanks, you guys. Listen, me and Josh would love to do this every single day. Only one way that happens. Listen, obviously we do our content for free, but more shows do require more. There's more money that has to be involved because things get moved around. So just understand as the show grows, you know, these are things that obviously me and Josh can talk about because we also have our independent channels that we do as well. But we have been hearing you guys, and we know the demand is out there for more than one show a week. So there's a lot of moving parts, and there's a lot of shows on Badlands. So just understand, we hear you, and we'll see, you know, in God's hands what the future holds. $10 coming in from Junior's Junior. People make fun of the thought of the plan while we watch you guys be directly involved in the plan. Thank you too. Thank you very much.
Flynn told us. Flynn said something very similar to us at the end of the interview that we did with him.
He did. It was a huge compliment.
Yep.
Here's what I'll say, Junior's Junior. When you hear people tell you, "Oh, you trust the plan, you're a retard," hit them with this question first. What's the plan? And watch them be like, "Well, So and then while they're stumbling and stuttering, say, so you're calling me a retard for trusting a plan. You don't even know what the plan is. So you have no idea if the plan that I trust is good or it's bad. And then tell them, do you know that we the people are part of that plan? So why would we not trust the plan that involves us? But I'm telling you, I have yet to date somebody that's tried to come at me with, oh, you trust the plan. And then I ask them, what's the plan? They never have an answer because they're morons.
I like that.
Drop that one on there, Junior's Junior. $25 coming from Hope Continues. Awesome show. Someone posted that maybe DEFCON should go twice a week. Dude, everything that is happening, I think that is a great idea. It is a great idea. We'll see what we can happen. We're on episode 7 tonight, so let's get into the double digits, and we'll reconvene for those conversations. $5 coming in.
Well, you got to do the
17. Yeah, $17 from Desert Jewel 17. I'm watching on delay. Thank you, Alpha, for always making things bigger on the screen. Otherwise, sometimes hard to see on TV. Thumbs up. I'm getting old too, Desert Jewels. So I got to get those things a little bigger as well. Hence the reason why I have it probably like at font 50 right now for the Rumble rants. $5 from Simul10. Do you still think Chi is part of the Sovereign Alliance? I do. I do. Yeah, I absolutely do. $5 coming in from the Stony 69. Hey guys, on Studio 6, they are worried about our 2026 elections. Do you think this will go down before the elections? I think a lot of it is going to go down before the elections. Here's my thoughts, and this is a very fluid thought process here, because things are going to change. I mean, things are changing daily. Forget weekly. Daily things are changing. We're going to see significant strides towards having fair elections as we approach midterms. We're not going to see a completely fixed election by the time we get there, but enough of it's going to happen that we're going to secure midterms. Stop, ignore the people or fire back on the people saying we're going to lose everything. The Republicans are going to lose everything. Absolutely not going to happen. And what you're going to see is following midterms, the remnants of what needs to get fixed will completely be done by the time we get to 2028. It is my opinion that by the time we get to the 2028 elections, assuming that everything stays the course that it is, we are going to finally have free and fair elections as they were intended. I don't know if you agree, disagree, or want to add to that, Josh.
It's the steps are already in motion. Trust me, the midterms, guys, we're going to come out of the midterms with a supermajority. And what you're going to see is a new constitutional amendment that's going to establish a sovereign wealth fund. And we can talk about the economic aspects of what's coming maybe next week, but it's big. And I write about it a lot in my Substack. So if you guys are interested, that Substack right there, I write about the economic stuff that's coming right there.
Make sure you guys go and follow it. $5 coming from Babu Fu. You want to try that one, Josh?
Babu Few.
Babu Few. There you go. When they say the end is not for everyone, there's some pretty nasty bad things to be revealed, in my opinion. You're not wrong. And then River Mo 2021 is now a monthly supporter. Thank you for joining the Badlands family. We appreciate that. Dollar for dollar coming in from ZBM. Since they've messed with it and changed details about our own history, y'all think that the books in the Bible have been taken out and details changed as well? Off topic, I know, but love y'all's input. You know, that is a whole podcast in of itself. Yep. So I'll give you the end of the statement that I usually have with this. And I actually had this conversation over the last couple of days with a cousin of mine, who's in a very good place spiritually. My faith is in our Creator, regardless of what name you want to give him. I believe in God. That's my position. And I believe that no matter what man has done to interfere with that if your heart is in the right place, intent, I truly believe that intent is a very real thing, that there's nothing that could prevent your Creator delivering the message that you want, regardless of what man has done to the words in the Bible. Hence the reason you could read John 3:16 at 5, 18, 28, 30, 60, 101 years old and have a different message every time. It's because your heart and soul is in a different place, and it's that relationship you have with the Creator. I know not everybody subscribes to that. That's just my position on that. If you got something, Josh, fire off. If not, we'll continue on.
You're spot on, brother. And that's a show in itself. And so maybe one day we'll do a special show or holiday show or something of that.
Yeah, we can do that over there on mine and yours, Alpha and the Red Pills. We can do something like that. That'd be very cool. Very, very cool. $10 coming in from Philly Murphy. Or Philly Murph, sorry, 29. Yo, boys, DEFCON ZERQ is the best thing since Philly cheesesteak. Your knowledge and wisdom are impeccable.
Love it.
Thanks so much. You know, I really like Philly cheesesteak. So Philly, that's a big compliment, and that is the last Rumble rant to come in. So let me pull that off the screen. We will go to the last commercial, and then after that, we'll get final thoughts. We'll let you know where you guys can find us, and we will call it a night. So give me 1 second, because this one's an actual read where I got to read some stuff. And this is our very own soft disclosure. So here we go, folks. Get ready to ignite a revolution with soft disclosure. This isn't just a product drop. It's a full-on movement that's about to shake things up. This is personal care that doesn't mess around. No compromise, just pure, unapologetic quality. First up, the lotion, supercharged with aloe, goat milk, and our exclusive Badlands oil blend. This isn't your average drugstore goop. It's a barrier-restoring powerhouse. Choose unscented when you want clean and simple, or vanilla citrus when you want to smell like you actually give a damn. Then the deodorant, natural, aluminum-free, and straight-up badass, built to last 2 months of daily use with scents like crisp mint or bold lemon grapefruit. No gimmick, just protection that actually delivers. And finally, the tallow bar. And no, it's not deodorant. It's a vanilla coffee tallow stick, primal fuel for your skin that's been through hell. Rub it where you need serious moisture, elbows, hands, knees, basically anywhere you're tired of feeling like sandpaper or just want baby soft skin. Every bottle, stick, and bar is handcrafted in Colorado by Badlanders who live and breathe truth. Partnering with Willow Wind Farms and Badlands Media, we're putting our money where our morals are. Soft disclosure. Make truth your routine. Head to softdisclosure.com. Use code Badlands for $5 off and join the fight today. Again, that's softdisclosure.com. Use code Badlands for $5 off. Josh, anything coming up this week, brother? And where can people find you?
Well, we got Sunday. We will be at that event, at Badlands event, myself, John, and CanCon, so people can go out there. That's posted on John's social media, Badlands social media on X, as well as on mine, at Real Joshua Reid on X. So that's where I'll be Sunday. Other than that, just doing my regular shows and waiting for 3 more booms to come this week, brother.
Boom. Speaking of booms, I almost forgot our family over there on YouTube with the super chats. So, Child of the King, $20. Thank you guys for the work you're doing and the threads you are breaking down. Pray for the success. Keep up the great work. Thank you. And then you have Child of the King gifted 5 Badlands Media memberships. Thank you for that. And then we got a thumbs up from Peter Frederick with a $2 super chat over there. So again, thank you to those that are growing our audience on YouTube. We need that because YouTube has taken down Badlands and Josh's channel and my channel.
YouTube took down they took down Badlands on YouTube?
Oh, this was a while back.
I just got suspended. They just deleted my profile yesterday.
Again.
Yep. So I will talk to you after and tell you what not to do.
Okay. Yeah, we will have that conversation. Folks, you can find everything Alpha at alphawarrior.tv. Find me on Rumble, The Alpha Warrior Show. Get into the trenches of the information warfare with me on X and all these other platforms. With that, you guys, thank you for supporting us. What I will say, go watch Just Alpha that I did last night over there on my podcast. Make sure you're following the channels that Josh is doing on the Red Pill projects. And I think that's it. So I did promise that we were going to play the Dan Scavino video on the way out. So we'll do that. And with that, you guys, we will catch you next time. God bless. Semper Fi. And no last minute Rumble rants that came in. So here you guys go. Enjoy.
Good night, folks.
If by Rudyard Kipling. If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you, if you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowance for their doubting too, if you can wait and not be tired by waiting, or being lied about, don't deal in lies, or being hated, don't give way to hating, and yet don't look too good, nor talk too wise. If you can dream and not make dreams your master, if you can think and not make thoughts your aim, if you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those two impostors just the same, if you can bear to hear the truth you've spoken, twisted by knaves to make a trap for fools, or watch the things you gave your life to broken, and stoop and build 'em up with worn-out tools, if you can make one heap of all your winnings and risk it on one turn of pitch and toss, and lose and start again at your beginnings and never breathe a word about your loss, if you can force your heart and nerve and sinew to serve your turn long after they are gone, and so hold on when there is nothing in you except the will which says to them, hold on. If you can talk with crowds and keep your virtue, or walk with kings, nor lose the common touch, if neither foes nor loving friends can hurt you, if all men count with you, but are none too much, if you can fill the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run, yours is the earth and everything that's in it. And, which is more, you'll be a man, my son.